Hi, welcome back to Hydroponics Daily. Today we're talking about another alternative to the use of growth regulators to increase yield and limit stretch in hydroponic crops, especially tall crops. So we want to avoid growth regulators wherever possible. They're hazardous to your health and they produce a lower quality crop. Partial root zone drying is a way of stimulating the natural hormones in a plant that curtail growth and reduce stretch. Now, unlike regulated deficit irrigation, which we talked about yesterday, which reduced the amount of water available to the plant, here the plant has got plenty of water. However, you use something called a split pot, which is a container, a plant pot, that has a divider between 50% of the grow media and the other side. The plant roots into both sides, and so you while it's a vegetative plant, you root it into both, and then as you go into flowering, you stop the water into one of the sides. You still make sure there's a small amount of water in there so the roots don't dry, but these are drying roots. Drying roots produce abscisic acid that travels to the leaves, closes the stomata somewhat, limits growth somewhat, prevents excessive vegetative growth, and produces all those sorts of nice chemicals you're looking for in a really good crop. And then the other side, you just keep on watering as normally. Give it ample water. So this plant never is ever restricted in the amount of water it gets. It's just having some roots drying at every point. Now, if your plant's growing for a long time, you might switch that back over after a couple of weeks or after 4 weeks. And then these plants become the drying roots, and you get a massive burst of abscisic acid and other funky hormones that travel up the plant, and then these plants provide the water. So you want them to be drying roots, not dry roots, because eventually this side will dry out. Once it's dry, those roots will just go dormant and will stop producing sap that travels up the plant. You do want some sap going up there with the hormones in, hence the reason you'll flip that. Now, this is a split pot. That's an added complication. That is the problem with partial root zone drying, why it's not adopted so widely, is that you have to have a specialized pot. Now, you can make them. You can sort of get some resin and glue in a divider into the plant. You could potentially 3D print a divider. There's a great product potential for if this took off, if everyone suddenly started growing PRD plants and said, hey, dude, you've got to do PRD, not growth regulators. Some clever guy or girl will print 3D dividers or 3D pots, and it'd be a great opportunity. If you're growing really large pots, like these 60-litre pots, you don't even need a divider. I've done PRD where there's no divider at all because my plants were massive. And if you water this side's never going to get wet because of the particular growing medium I was using that in the time. Some growing medias, the water will flow, and so you do need a divider. And then anything like a 3-litre pot or a 1-litre pot, you're not going to get a good enough division between the well-watered and the drying side. So I thoroughly recommend partial root zone drying for anyone who's looking for an alternative to growth regulators. And use this in combination with gold leaf or liquid gold, our fantastic fertilizer, and you will produce A1 top quality produce. Thank you very much. Got any comments? Think I'm talking absolute nonsense? Leave a comment below, and let's have an email discussion or a comment discussion. Thank you very much.